You're live, Mr. Chairman.
Call this October 15th meeting of Greenville County Council to order. And the first item of business would be the invocation offered by Dr. Fant.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, we glory and delight in your presence. We thank you for your goodness and your grace. We thank you for being better to us than we deserve, and certainly better to us than we've been to ourselves. We thank you, O God, for sparing us during the recent hurricane. Continue to be with families as we work our way through this tragic situation. We know that you sit high, look low, and have all power in your hands. As we gather together tonight, we seek your face. We ask for the presence of your Spirit to guide our minds, guide our hearts, and help us make decisions that are pleasing in your sight. These petitions we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda are approval of minutes from October 1st meeting.
Move approval of the minutes.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Next are proclamations and special recognition. I'd like to call on Dr. Fant for a proclamation.
Ask Mr. Reddy who wants to join him to meet me at the podium. Thank you. Sunday Dinner with a Twist. Whereas Sunday Dinner with a Twist has made an extraordinary impact on the lives of those experiencing homelessness in Greenville County, serving over 68,000 meals since its founding in 2018, offering essential items such as clothing, shoes, hygiene kits, snack bags, and transportation. And whereas each weekend the organization hands out nearly 250 meals, demonstrating a profound commitment to addressing hunger and hardship while fostering a sense of dignity and community. And whereas the dedication of Sunday Dinner with a Twist is a shining example of how compassionate action can bring meaningful change and inspire collective efforts towards greater kindness and generosity. And whereas recognizing and celebrating the spirit of giving is crucial in encouraging more individuals and organizations to contribute to the well-being of our community, to humanize the homeless, and to show love with no stipulations. Now, therefore, Greenville County Council recognizes the inspiring work of Sunday Dinner with a Twist and hereby proclaims November 8th, which will be coming up next month, as the Day of Giving for Greenville County. The day shall honor and encourage acts of generosity, kindness, and community service, highlighting the invaluable contributions of organizations like Sunday with a Twist that make a difference in the lives of our neighbors. And Mr. Red, if you say something on behalf of the organization.
Thank you. My name is Red Martin with Sunday Dinner with a Twist. Along with my beautiful wife, she is the co-founder, my daughter, and little Samuel Dean. We thank y'all for allowing us to come and make this a day of giving. We started this 7 years ago to come out and feed the homeless because I once was homeless for 18 years of my life. And I met my wife while I was homeless, and she changed my whole world. And she asked me one day what I wanted to do, and I wanted to go back out and give to the people like me, the people that are struggling. And the thing about it is we're working together with a lot of people, but we're also working with people like David Carson, who's with Sammy's Mission. And we're trying to get men and women back home to their families, back off the streets. And we really appreciate y'all for having us today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for all you do for Greenville County. All right, next item on the agenda are appearances
at on current agenda items. We've got one speaker tonight, Ms. Audrey Roth. Do you want to come forward and give us your name and address for the record?
It's Audrey Roth Passon. Hello, good evening. And I live at 136 Old Altamont Ridge Road, Paris Mountain. Thank you. I'm glad to be here tonight. I'm the only one all night. That can't be. Can I have a few extra minutes? I'm going to speak on the Fairmont Avenue and Federal American Relief Act matter because I want the council, I'm here to be helpful, I want the council always to comply with law, including federal law. And I've looked at that act, and I don't think it's applicable for the purpose you're using the money. It's for COVID relief, health-related expenses, business losses, agricultural expenses, not for purchases of land made to settle land development litigation, which is what the Fairmont deal's about. And that brings me to a larger, more crucial point for council, which is that you must always comply with federal, state, and local law and your own council rules. Now, if you don't do that, there's often unintended adverse consequences. We don't like that stuff. That's litigation. We want to avoid it. So tonight on your agenda is an item with 2 asterisks. I'm not supposed to speak about it, but I'm going to use it as an example of council rules. So I'm not speaking about it. I'm using it as an example, and it's the UDO, of course. And it is over 600 pages long, and to comply with your rules, that 600-page document has to comply with Section 4A, your rule, which says, prior to the introduction of any proposed ordinance, the county attorney shall review the form and draftsmanship of the proposal.
Ma'am?
Yes?
Ma'am, I'm just going to call you to order. You're supposed to be speaking on Metropolitan Sewer Subdistrict.
I am complying with law. The bigger, most important, I asked to be heard. I'm the only speaker, and I'm going to finish up, and you can disregard my request that you comply with your rule, because I don't think the county attorney has reviewed it for form or draftsmanship. I've reviewed it for form. It doesn't comply with the state statute. It doesn't comply with the comprehensive plan. It undercuts jurisdiction of your planning commission. Let me finish for the record, at least.
No.
Yes. They
Please,
told me you would shut me
hold
down, but I have to tell you that your other rule, this is vitally important. Listen, don't arrest me.
Ma'am.
Let me argue a point without mentioning that thing.
If you are talking about the rules and you're breaking them.
I am. Okay, let me explain.
Okay.
Wait a second. No, I have, please.
She's talking about the rules, Mr. Chairman.
You're
Speak.
adopting, please, sir, don't do this. You're
Speak.
adopting- Will one of you say, you're adopting ordinance. Your adopting ordinance has never been put before the public. It is inadequate.
You should let her speak. She's speaking about the rules.
And she's violating the rules, Mr. Juvalakis.
She's speaking about the rules.
We have rules for a reason. I apologize for that. If you sign up to speak, you list the item that you're speaking on. You cannot speak about other items, especially ones that council rules do not allow. If the UDO is something that she wanted to talk about, that has not been through committee. Under council rules, you cannot speak to that until it's been through committee. So if you want to come speak on something, you're more than welcome to, but abide by the rules. And
She
when
was
I asked
speaking about the rules, Mr. Chairman.
It doesn't matter. She was speaking about the UDO, Mr. Juvalakis. You know that, and you're just...
You know that, and as you usually do, you make people stop talking.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on to the next item, which is public hearings, and I'll call on Chairman Kervin to talk about the Dunklin Fire District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding a resolution to provide for the millage rate to be levied by the Dunklin Fire District. Ms. Stone, has anyone signed up to speak at this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kervin, we have no one signed up for this public hearing.
I declare this public hearing closed.
Go ahead and take the next one, Boiling Springs Fire Department.
Yes, sir. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding a resolution to provide for the continuation of current ad valorem property tax to be levied by the Boiling Springs Fire District. Ms. Stone, has anyone signed up to speak at this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kervin, we have no one signed up for this public hearing.
Thank you. I declare this public hearing closed.
You've got the next one, Fairmont or South Greenville Fire Department.
Yes, sir. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding a resolution to provide for the continuation of current millage and ad valorem property tax to be levied by the South Greenville Fire District. Has anyone signed up to speak at this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kervin, we have no one signed up for this public hearing.
Thank you. I declare this public hearing closed.
All right, item D, Fairmont Avenue.
This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding an ordinance authorizing the transfer of approximately 15 acres of real property located off Fairmont Avenue in Greenville County, identified as County Council Tax Map numbers 0387 .00-01-004.00 and 0387 00-01-00403 and 087 00-01-00401 by way of Federal American Rescue Plan Act funding to the Greenville County Redevelopment Authority, and to authorize the execution of a deed and any other documents and agreements related thereto. Ms. Stone, has anyone signed up to speak at this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kervin, we have no one signed up for this public hearing.
I declare this public hearing closed.
Item E, Greenville-Lawrence County Multi-County Industrial Business Park Agreement.
This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a multi-county industrial or business park by and between Greenville County, South Carolina, and Lawrence County, South Carolina, to designate the boundaries of the park and other matters related thereto. Ms. Stone, has anyone signed up to speak at this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kervin, no one has signed up for this public hearing.
I declare this public hearing closed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Last item on the public hearings, Chairman Seaman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This public hearing is being held for the purpose of receiving comments from the public regarding a resolution to enlarge the boundaries of the Greater Greenville Sanitation District to include 587 Camden Drive, Piedmont. Has anybody signed up to speak in favor or in opposition?
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Seaman, no one has signed up for this public hearing.
Having no speakers, Mr. Chairman, I'll declare this public hearing closed.
All right, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda.
Move for approval of the consent agenda.
All right, all those in favor of approval say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. All right, resolutions. We'll start with Dunklin Fire District. Chairman Kervin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for adoption a resolution to provide for the millage rate to be levied by the Dunklin Fire District.
All right, all those in favor of adoption of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Next one, Chairman Kervin, Boiling Springs Fire District.
I move for adoption a resolution to provide for the continuation of current ad valorem property tax to be levied by the South Greenville Fire District and the Boiling Springs Fire District.
All right, all those in favor of adoption of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Next one is Gentherm Corporation. Chairman Kervin.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I move for adoption of a resolution approving, ratifying, and consenting to the transfer and assignment by Gentherm South Carolina Corporation, formerly known as Alphamere Corporation, and Gentherm Automotive LLC, formerly known as Alphamere Friedrichs and Rath LLC, to an assumption by Circle K Holdings LLC of a certain existing FILO agreement to which the county is a party and other matters relating thereto.
All right, all those in favor of adoption.
Question, please.
Yeah, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It looks like we're just changing owners here or allowing ownership change. We're not changing the terms of this FILO.
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
Simple transfer.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor of adoption of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Greater Greenville Sanitation District, Chair Seaman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for adoption a resolution to enlarge the boundaries of the Greater Greenville Sanitation District to include 587 Camden Drive, Piedmont.
All those in favor of adoption of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, The ayes have it. Next one, Chair Seaman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for adoption a resolution ordering a public hearing on the question of the enlargement of the territory of the Metropolitan Sewer Subdistrict and other matters relating thereto.
All right. All those in favor of adoption of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Next item are ordinances at third reading. And the first one, well, actually, the next several are Dr. Fant. If you'll take the first one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. CZ 2024-041, property located at 42 and 44 Vaughn Road, Greenville, requesting rezoning from RS to FRD. The Planning Commission had no recommendation, and the committee recommended approval with a condition. Mr. Chairman, since we're at third reading, I move to suspend Council Rule 4B3 to allow for immediate consideration of an amendment at third reading to zoning docket CZ 2024-041.
All right. All those in favor of suspending Council Rule 4B3 to allow for immediate consideration of amendment at third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Now you've got an amendment.
Chairman, I move to amend the request to include the following conditions. 1, reduce the total number of lots from 15 to 14, place a maximum height on the dwellings of 2 stories or 35 feet in total height, submit a final development plan for review and approval prior to the issuance of any land development or building permits.
All right. You've heard the amendment. Any questions on the amendment? All those in favor of adoption of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I now move for adoption of the ordinance as amended at third reading.
All right. All those in favor of adoption of the ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. It's adopted at third reading. Next one, Dr. Fant.
CZ 2024-048. You going to step up?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself from this. Since I'm one of the owners of the property, I'll have no part in the decision council makes.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Dr. Fant.
Property located at 213 League Road, Simpsonville, requesting rezoning from RS to AG. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All those in favor of adoption of the ordinance at third reading, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. Adopted at third reading. 49.
CZ 2024-049, property located at 25 New Dunham Bridge Road, 1008 and 1010 South Welcome Road, Greenville, requesting rezoning from R12 to RMA. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All right. All in favor of adoption at third reading of the ordinance at third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. It's adopted at third reading. 50, Dr. Fant.
Property located at 2 Fisher Road and Shady Lane, Greenville, requesting rezoning from R20 to FRD as amended. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All those in favor of adoption of the ordinance at third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. It's adopted. 51, Dr. Fant.
Property located at 1430 Lakeside Grove Lane, Lakeside Road, Stables Road, and Interstate I-85 South, Greenville, requesting rezoning from S1, RSC2, and RMA to I-1. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All right. All those in favor of adoption of the ordinance at third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. 52, Dr. Fant.
Property located at 2004 and 2006 Pelham Road and Blacks Drive, Greenville, requesting rezoning from PD to PD major change as amended. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All in favor of the adoption of the ordinance at third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. It's adopted at third reading. 53, Dr. Fant.
Property located at number 5, 7, 9, 11, and 101 Talley Street, Greenville, requesting rezoning from RM15 to R6. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All those in favor of adoption of the ordinance at third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. 54, last one, Dr. Fant.
Property located on Talley Street, Goldsmith Street, Loom Street, Hammond Street Extension, Greenville, requesting rezoning from RM15 to R7.5. I move adoption of the ordinance at third reading.
All right. All those in favor of adoption of the ordinance at third reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Now we're at ordinances at second reading. First one up is Greenville, Lawrence Multi-County Industrial Park Agreement. Chairman Kervin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Project Oz Onward. I move for approval at second reading an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a multi-county industrial or business park lying between Greenville County, South Carolina, and Lawrence County, South Carolina, to designate the boundaries of the park and other related matters. This is coming to us from Lawrence County.
All right. This is up for second reading. Any questions on the motion? Mr. Bradley?
This is where we don't do nothing and get 1%, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All those in favor of adoption at second reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. It's adopted at second reading. Transfer of Fairmont Avenue properties. Chairman Kervin.
Thank you, sir. I move for approval at second reading an ordinance authorizing the transfer of approximately 15 acres of real property located off Fairmont Avenue to the Greenville County Redevelopment Authority and to authorize the execution of a deed and any other documents and agreements related thereto.
All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Juvelakis?
can you tell me, has the county attorney reviewed this, just based on what I just heard? Has this been reviewed, or does it matter?
It was reviewed, and he spoke to us about it, I think, at Cal several weeks ago.
Okay.
Went through point by point.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. All right. Any other questions? All those in favor of adoption at second reading, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The next item is the Metropolitan Sewer Subdistrict Boundary Enlargement. Vice Chair Seaman, or Chairman Seaman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for approval at second reading an ordinance authorizing the enlargement of the territory of the Metropolitan Sewer Subdistrict and other matters relating thereto, and I have an additional motion.
Okay. State your motion.
I move to hold this item until the November 5th County Council meeting, at such time the public hearing is scheduled.
All right. All in favor of holding this until the November 5th County Council meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. The next item is ordinances at first reading, and Dr. Fan, I'll call on you.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I present for first reading zoning dockets CZ 2024-066 through CZ 2024-069.
All right. Those will go, we'll send those to Planning and Development Committee. And then Chairman Kervin, next item.
First reading, I believe, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Item 12B, I present for first reading an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park, 2010 park of Anderson and Greenville County, so as to enlarge the park.
Okay, that item will stay on the floor. And then item C.
It's Project Palmetto.
Okay. And then the next one is you, Chairman Kervin.
Yes, sir. I present for first reading an ordinance to authorize a sale of a county-owned 1.995 acre parcel of real property located at 6 Bailey Mill Road, Travelers Rest, at the corner of Highway 14 and Bailey Road, and to authorize the chairman of county council and the county administrator to execute appropriate deeds and agreements related thereto.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. This will stay on the floor as well. And then item D, Unified Development Ordinance. Chairman Seaman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As noticed in the council packet, I present for first reading an ordinance to adopt the Greenville County Unified Development Ordinance.
Okay. I'm going to send the UDO to the Planning and Development Committee. I'm also requesting that the Planning Commission discuss the UDO at its next meeting and provide a recommendation back to council. All right, next item on the agenda are committee reports, and I'll call on Vice Chair Seaman for Committee of the Whole report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As noticed in the council packet, I move to suspend Council Rule 6A to allow for the immediate adoption of a Council Rules amendment.
All right. All those in favor of suspending Rule 6A, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the committee, I move to add a new subsection E to Section 2 to require 3/4 vote of the members of council to hire the 3 named council employees, a 3/4 vote of the members of council to terminate a council employee without cause, and provide for a majority vote of the members of council to terminate for cause.
All right. All those, any questions on the rule?
Did that include the amendment that was made?
Yes, it does. It conforms with the amendment Mr. Blunt made
It took it from 8 to 9.
Right, correct. Yep. All right, all those in favor of adoption of the rule, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, the rules adopt.
Wait, was there one in opposition?
In opposition, okay, thank you. The rule is adopted, and we'll move to the next item, interim county attorney appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the committee, I move to authorize the chairman of county council to negotiate and execute a contract with Christopher Antley for the position of county attorney under the terms discussed in executive session.
All right, all those in favor of adoption, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Final, board and commission.
Mr. Chairman, since there was no action taken in committee of the whole, I have no report on item number 3.
All right, administrator's report.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, I just wanted to give you an update on the storm recovery that we're in the process of. The county's debris collection is in full swing. As of noon today, our contractor has collected over 125,000 cubic yards of debris, which is enough to cover the length and width of 60 football fields. While we hope to have a large portion of the debris collected by the end of this month, collections will likely continue throughout November. As of this week, SCDOT has also begun their debris collection in Greenville, so you'll begin seeing some of the debris disappearing from more of the highly traveled roads. Citizens are reminded to please place debris along the edge of the road and not in the blocking lanes of the road to allow for traffic to safely proceed. The county has 4 roads that remain closed due to the washouts, including Chick Springs Road and Taylor's, Smith Circle and Fountain Inn, Duckworth Road and Marietta, and Sharon Drive and Greer. These will require a contractor to complete repairs, and we are actively working to get them back open as soon as possible. I want to thank our public works staff for working diligently to make in-house repairs that allowed us to reopen several other roads within the week of the event. I'd also like to ask Jessica to come up and give you a quick overview from emergency management. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Since the last council meeting, we have started to move from the response phase into the recovery phase now. Along the way, we have had several state and federal visitors to our Emergency Operations Center. This includes Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette, General Stilwell from the South Carolina National Guard, South Carolina Emergency Management Director Kim Stenson, South Carolina's Federal Coordinating Officer Brett Howard, U.S. Fire Administrator Dr. Lori Moore-Morrell, FEMA Region 10 Administrator Willie Nunn, and FEMA's Deputy Administrator Eric Hooks. Each of these wanted to hear the county's story of how we responded, how they could help, and they applauded the work the county has done and how we have all come together. I couldn't be more proud of our emergency management team, our partners here throughout the county and the municipalities, the state, and those who came from out of state to help us during this storm. The relationships that we've built prior to Helene shined during this incident. This includes public-private partnerships, and those partnerships have helped us immensely during our response and now on our road to recovery, to include reforming their daily operations to support our needs. But our work continues and will continue for a very long time, as recovery is the longest phase of emergency management. 75 customers remain without power at this time. At the height of the storm, 270,050 customers were without power, which is basically the entire county. Our community emergency response team volunteers answered 393 phone calls from citizens with questions and concerns from September the 29th to October 9th. A federal program called SARCOP, which stands for Search and Rescue Common Operating Picture, was used during the initial response phase of this incident by search and rescue teams. The first responders were searching structures to ensure that no one was trapped and used this program to mark the initial damages in the county. The information obtained by the search and rescue teams provided an overview of the areas in the county that were most impacted, and that information was then shared to our county damage assessment teams to assist them in their planning efforts to assess the most impacted areas. They are still evaluating their preliminary damage assessment data, but the data from SARCOP showed 55 structures were destroyed in the county, 649 had major damage, and 1,300 had minor damage. And again, these numbers are still preliminary. Those search and rescue teams tracked 10,323 miles across the county during their survey. We were the first county in South Carolina to open a disaster recovery center where our citizens can meet with FEMA in person regarding assistance. That's currently located at the Freetown Community Center. As of this morning, there have been 78,061 registrations for FEMA's Individual Assistance Program. That's a combination of registration by phone, internet, and in person. FEMA's Individual Assistance has several programs for which applicants can be approved. Over $36 million for the Individuals and Households Program, over $1.5 million for housing assistance, and over $34 million for other needs assistance has been approved so far for applicants in Greenville County. FEMA and SCEMD held an in-person public assistance applicant briefing yesterday at our EOC to assist our partners, government agencies, and nonprofits to begin the process for applying for reimbursement for emergency protective measures, debris removal, and more. We're working with county finance as we begin this process ourselves. We're also working on getting all of our equipment and supplies back to pre-storm order, and through our response, it has been really great here in the county. We're always looking to see how we can improve, so we will soon begin the process of an after-action review and improvement plan. Thank you all for your support during this event.
I just want to take a minute to congratulate you and your team. You did an amazing job. We were there starting Friday and saw what you were doing, and Dr. Blackwell, Bob Mahalik, Heisha, T. I mean, we are blessed in this county for the team that we have that brought hundreds of volunteers together to work on the after effects of the storm. So you're a leader among leaders, and we appreciate all that you've done for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Bradley.
I'd just like to add that we had some needs in my district. I contacted Heisha right on, just brought what we needed right out. I was thoroughly impressed. I had several, we're kind of out there in the southern part, so we had trees still out in the road, and all I had to do was pick up the phone, and Heisha took care of it. Yeah. And question for Joe, if I may.
Sure.
I guess all the storm debris is going to the landfill?
Absolutely not. None of it is.
Where is it going?
It's each of the contractors. For instance, there's several different contractors that are collecting the debris right now. The county has one. Right. Cities have one. Some of them may have the same common one. I don't know for sure. The state has a different one. So each of the contractors is responsible for disposal of whatever they collect, not in our landfill. And so, for instance, ours is depositing it at one of our closed landfills and then actually grinding it all up. So it'll be, and then selling it for mulch and for other horse equine bedding and different things like that to be used in other areas. So no, we don't want it to go in a landfill, just use a very valuable space, and it doesn't belong in a landfill.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Kirby?
One more question, Mr. Administrator. To what extent is the county being reimbursed by federal funds for the cost of the cleanup?
Right now, we've been notified that some of it will qualify for 100% reimbursement from FEMA. Traditionally, it has been 75% reimbursed and 25% on the locals. However, the state has stepped in at times and taken care of the 25%. We're hopeful that most of it will be covered at 100%.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate all teams have done. All right. I think that concludes our business. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it.